Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barak Athah to all my brothers, Yahweh Shemar Athah Hashem, Yahweh Shah to all my sisters. I'm Priest and Officer of 500, Ricard Ariel, straight out of Boston. You know what I'm saying? Represent the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahan. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. We're going to talk about a subject. I know I'm a little late on it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all were just, you know what I'm saying, buying up all the flour and all the chocolates and all the candy to celebrate your mother and worship your mother as if that actually has value and as if it's actually proof of you loving your mother. Those flowers and those candies and that, you know, all that means nothing. All that means nothing, especially when, you know what I'm saying, you never listen to a word your mother said. You never follow any rule, any type of rule that your mother has given you. You never follow nothing. So no, you know what I'm saying? That is not, and I mean not at all loving your mother. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get with it, you know what I'm saying? Let me type it in the chat. Look. I'm going live on YouTube, going live on Facebook, going live on Twitter. Those are the 3 major platforms. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see the scriptures that I post, go on those. But I'm also on TikTok, and those on TikTok, I can't, you know what I'm saying, post the scripture on here while I'm posting it on here. You know what I'm saying? I don't have TikTok part of my, you know what I'm saying, multi-platform streaming algorithm, you know. So we're going to get with it. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about how y'all worshiping y'all mother, and not just worshiping y'all mother, y'all worshiping false gods. If y'all look into the history of it, y'all are actually worshiping false gods, false deities. You know what I'm saying? Y'all worshiping all types of manners of sickness and madness. You know what I'm saying? But if y'all have any questions on or off subject, if y'all have any questions that are on or off subject, just pop it in the chat. Pop it in the chat. Till then, you know what I'm saying? If y'all have no questions, I want to get on with the class. We're going to go to our first scripture. We're going to cut some things off from the get-go. We're going to go to what is actually a mother that's worthy of praise. You know what I'm saying? A mother that's worthy of praise. We're going to go to Proverbs. Oops. My bad. Proverbs. Chapter 31 and verse, let's go with 26. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs 31 is a very famous book of the Bible. It has a very famous quote in it about what's a virtuous woman. You know what I'm saying? A virtuous woman's worth is higher than rubies or something to that effect. I think that's Proverbs 31 and 10, right? Now, people don't read all through that chapter. If you read through all through that chapter, it talks about the qualities of a virtuous woman. But let's get to what a virtuous woman actually is. If you look up the word virtuous woman, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. We got some things in the chat. Let me see. I believe we are, but what makes yours the real? I don't know what you're talking about. One that will understand her kids one that understands her kids, listens to her kids, and protects to love and grow. Partly. My perspective. Jesus died for our sins, was buried, and rose again on the 3rd day. We're saved by grace through faith. Who's we? You know what I'm saying? Who is we? But let's get with it. We're going to go with Proverbs 31, 26 through 29. All right, let's get with it. Oh, I ain't even there. Give me a second to get there. Let's start with Proverbs 31, verse 10, real quick, so I can show y'all the famous quote that everybody loves about. Every Christian knows Proverbs 31, at least they're supposed to, but they don't fully understand it. You know what I'm saying? Every woman on this planet believes she's virtuous, but if you look up the definition of virtuous, which I'm going to pop on this screen, bear with me 1 second. I pop it up on the screen. I ain't going to use the Google search one. I'm going straight to the Merriams. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to use. I like to use the Merriams. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go straight to the Merriams. Let me show it to y'all real quick. Show y'all what virtuous actually means. All right. Virtuous. Virtuous. Definition of virtuous. 1A, having or exhibiting virtue. Excellent, righteous, chaste, potent, efficacious, right? But let's go with that first one, having or exhibiting virtue. What is virtue? Conformity to a standard of right morality, a particular moral excellence, a beneficial quality, power of a thing, aka that will be better known as a skill. Manly strength or courage, which is like equal to valor. A commendable quality or trait, another thing for skill. A capacity to act, potent for skill. Chastity, especially in a woman. You know what I'm saying? So what you get from virtue mainly a skill. Or it means some type of morally, you know what I'm saying? Some type of moral standard. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has a moral standard. And most of these women nowadays just talking about they deserve all this attention on Mother's Day, don't have a moral standard either. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, we have a connect. Oops, seems like one of your streams is having a connection issue. None of my streams are having a connection issue. But the face, no, that's my personal Facebook. That don't count. But let's read it. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Who can find a woman of some type of moral standard, or even a woman of skill? Those are the two that virtue falls under. A woman of moral standard or a woman of skill. Who could find a woman like that nowadays? If you look at the women nowadays, all they caring about is twerking. You see what these Cardi B, these Megan Thee Stallions, you know what I'm saying, what they promote and what the fellas accept. You see what the Tory Lanez, the baby, Lil Baby, you know, Young Thug, all these dudes. You see what the type of woman they expect. They're not talking about women of of moral standards. They're not talking about women of any skill. They're talking about women that just have TNA and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They're not talking about women of any type of moral values. You know what I'm saying? But hold on. No, I'm not single, brother. It's weird that you were asking if I am. Just gonna put that out there. William Antifa, what question are you asking? Because all I got is you. Oh, you talking about glory be to you talking about, oh, he's saying allegedly. I don't know. But you got to know. You love Megan. Know why you love Megan? You love Megan because you love women with no type of moral aptitude, no type of standards. And you're not the type of man that's willing to protect your woman from the scrutiny of the world. You don't mind your woman being out there half naked. You don't mind your woman being out there showing what she should be only showing you. I would go as far as to say that you hate your women. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't want your woman to have some type of moral standard or some type of aptitude, ain't showing her backside all over the internet. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different ball game. But you want that, so that means you don't love your woman. You don't love your woman, because that's how she gets stalkers. That's how she gets berated. That's how she gets scrutinized. That's how she gets bullied online, because her man don't love her enough to tell her to put some clothes on. To go put some clothes on her backside. If you love your woman, you want to make sure she don't have to go through all that. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop down to verse 26. Proverbs 31, verse 26. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. She's opening her mouth with wisdom. She's giving those law, statutes, and commandments to her kids. She's teaching her kids how to follow God's laws. She ain't teaching her kids that you only live once. You got to get it how you can. She ain't teaching her kids shake what your mama gave you. She ain't teaching her kids, you know what I'm saying, about the power of that WAP or whatever, or how to, sell what your mama gave you. No, she's teaching her kids law, statutes, and commandments. She's teaching her kids wisdom. Only wisdom is coming out of mouth. Not a lot of women are exhibiting such a skill. Not a lot of women exhibiting a skill to tell their kids, you know what I'm saying, that Christmas is a sin. Christmas is against God. Christmas is a pagan religion. Pagan celebration. But you know what you're teaching your kids when you do celebrate Christmas? You're teaching your kids to be happy when anybody gives you a gift. You're teaching your kids to sit on some stranger's lap for a gift. Ain't that what y'all do? Every Christmas, y'all bring y'all kids to the mall, sit on some pedophile's lap, and tell that pedophile what you want for Christmas, while that pedophile getting a hard on while your kid's in their lap. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're doing. A mother of virtue ain't going to teach her kids about Christmas. Ain't going to teach her kids about Mother's Day. Ain't going to teach her kids about, you know what I'm saying, all those things. Because if she's a proper mother of wisdom, she ain't going to want to be worshipped. And if you truly love your mother, you will respect and do as she says and show her appreciation every day. Every day. But let's continue. Verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. She's looking into the ways of her household. She's looking to see what her household needs, what it, you know what I'm saying, what the people in the household want. She's looking to make sure her household is good. That's what a virtuous woman does. She has the skills to. She has the skills to make sure her household is good. A lot of women nowadays don't have the skills to do that. They do what they want. A lot of these women, I've seen women leave their kids alone just so they could go to the club. I see women leave their kids by themselves in the household just so they could go out, have a good time with their homegirls, bring some random dude over, get some chills sent down her spine, and never see that dude again in front of her kids. She might even introduce that random man to her kids as Uncle Ray Ray or something. You know what I'm saying? And those kids will never see Uncle Ray Ray ever again. And these are the type of mothers you are celebrating. These are the type of mothers you're celebrating. Sometimes it's hard out there. You know what I'm saying? I understand the scripture says, honor thy mother and thy father. Yes, indeed, it does. The scripture definitely says, honor thy mother and thy father. But what exactly is honoring thy mother and thy father? Let me tell you. When you honor thy mother and thy father, just remember, there's a stage, there's 3 stages in life. Youth, adulthood, and elderly. Elderly and being a baby is darn near similar. So what your parents did for you and how they took care of you when you were a baby, make sure you do that for them when they are of age and when they are elderly. That's how you honor your mother and your father. Shalom, what's going on, brother? What's going on, Martin? William Antifa asked, why are you accusing us? I ain't accusing y'all of nothing, especially with that last name Antifa. I'm pretty sure you're not even Black, Hispanic, or Native. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure of that. See, I'm hitting you because you're feeling a certain amount of guilt. You don't even know it. So you're taking everything personal because you feel a certain type of guilt. And you know that you don't love your mother or you're worshiping a woman that's not worthy of such worship, which no woman really is. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 28. Her children will rise up and call her blessed. Like when a woman takes care of household, when she takes care of a household, that's when her children will call her blessed. That's when her children will appreciate her. That's when her children will love her properly. You know what I'm saying? When she is taking care of her household, that means taking care of her man first and foremost. Taking care of her children, taking care of things that's needed in the house, making sure the refrigerator's full, the bills are paid. You know what I'm saying? That's how a woman is considered blessed. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Her husband also, and he praises her. Her husband will praise her too. Her husband will praise her too. You know what I'm saying? But should we continue? Yeah, many daughters have done virtuously. Many women have done virtuously. Many women have done skillful things. Many women have, have some moral aptitude, you know what I'm saying? But thou excellence them all, but she exceeds them all. She is better than them all. That's what a virtuous woman is. Many women have done virtuous things. Yes, true indeed. But a virtuous woman exceeds all of them. He exceeds all of them. If God exists, he must love cancer and suffering. See, what you don't understand, Anthony Ward, is God is the creator of all things. He's the creator of all things good and all things bad. And that's the Christianity in you that don't understand that God is the creator of all things. See, Christianity wants you to believe that God is only the creator of good things, but no. God is the creator of bad things too. Whatever you deem as so wrong, guess what? God is in control of everything. God is not weak. And the reason why he does it is the reason why he doesn't. You just gonna have to accept it. If not, you know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's continue. Let's go to Proverbs 19 and 26. Let me type that up in here. Let's stay in the book of Proverbs. All right, I typed it up in there. Give y'all a couple seconds to get there. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs chapter 19, verse 26. He that wasteth his father and chasteneth away his mother. So those are the people that don't care about their parents. Like when your parents told you not to be a junkie smoking up all the weed, did you listen? When your mother told you not to bring home any white women, did you listen? There's a whole bunch of things that your mother said that you did not listen to. You know what I'm saying? You wasted away your mother. All the knowledge and wisdom that she was trying to give you through whatever means she was trying to give it to you through. You wasted it away with your own selfish lust and needs. You know what I'm saying? Your mother never wanted you to smoke weed. Even if she was a drug addict, she still didn't want you to become one. You know what I'm saying? Even if your mother, you know what I'm saying, was a prostitute, she didn't want you to be on that stripper pole. But you on the stripper pole, you got an OnlyFans, you on Instagram showing it all. You know what I'm saying? You on Instagram doing it, and you think that's something special. Now it's Mother's Day. You're gonna show your mother that you love her with some chocolate, and you never listened to a word she said. You never followed any rules she gave you, any guidance she showed you. You never did none of that. You wasted your mother away. Let's bring that back from the top again. You know what I'm saying? 26. He that wasteth his father and chasteth away his mother is a son that causeth shame. You are a son that caused shame. Your mother didn't want you to be no homosexual. But look at y'all. Homosexual talking about, I don't know what that boy's song he's singing. What's that rapper that's flamboyant as can be? What's his name? Lil Nas X. Y'all parading Lil Nas X singing this song, dressing like him. Men nowadays got fingernail polish on. You know what I'm saying? Got all types of fingernail polish on. Y'all are ashamed to your parents. An absolute shame to your parents. So how you going to make up to your mama with some chocolate and some flowers talking about I love you, and you are everything she never wanted? You can't even you're a homosexual, and you can't even give your mother a damn grandchild. You can't even give her a grandchild. What type of son are you? What type of daughter are you? You on the stripper pole just swinging it for the whole community. Twerking, living that full-blown ratchet life. Far from a mother. You got your mother watching your kids. You think your mother came to this old age to watch your kids? You are a shame. You are a shame. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. But let's continue. And bringeth reproach. And you bring reproach. You bring shame and just ill tidings to your parents. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's talking about you behind your parents' back, talking about how well your parents did a horrible job raising you. You're bringing pain to your parents, and you want to celebrate them. You think chocolate and flowers is going to make up for that. You think chocolate and flowers is going to solve that whole issue? Nah, it's not going to solve nothing. You're just a disgusting being, a completely disgusting being that only lives for their own lusts, that only lives for their own desires. That's what you are. That's literally what you are. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get to the next one. And if y'all got any questions, this retard said God creates nothing. All right. Continue with that. But let's continue. Let's continue. Matthew 15. Because all y'all doing with this, you know what I'm saying, is just a bunch of fake love. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't really love your mother. Y'all don't really love your father. Y'all don't really love your parents. If you can't do what they are telling you to do, what they are instructing you to do, how they are teaching you, then you really don't love them at all. You know what I'm saying? You really don't. You really don't love your parents at all if you can't follow their simple rules in the house. Your parents punish you. How quick were y'all to sneak out the house, try to jump out a window or something? Y'all never love y'all mother and y'all father. Well, let's continue with it. We on Matthew 15, verse 4. Hold on one sec. Let me bring that up a bit. Let's start at verse 3. Let's start at verse 3. Give more context. But he answered, well, no. Let's start at 1. Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, now, if you don't know who the scribes and Pharisees are, those are the people that were against Christ. What type of people were they? They were the community leaders. They were people who had power, you know what I'm saying, over the regular Israelites. You know what I'm saying? The scribes and the Pharisees were the brother. They would be like the Christian church today, your black and Hispanic politicians. Those would be the scribes and Pharisees of today. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. Which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? So they come into the disciples of Christ and to Christ himself, asking, why are they transgressing the tradition of the elder? What was that tradition? That tradition was washing your hands before you eat. That is a Israelite culture. That is the Israelite thing. That's what the elders taught us to do. It's not a law. It's not a law at all. It's a tradition. It's something that we did because we are a clean people. You know what I'm saying? We had some type of knowledge to understand that there's some things that we can't see with our eyes that are possibly on our hands, you know what I'm saying, as we eating this food. You know what I'm saying? This dirt ain't just dirt. This dirt is death. So we would wash our hands before we ate, right? Verse 3. Let me finish verse 2. No, let me start from the top of verse 2. Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. Like I was telling y'all. Verse 3. But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your traditions? Now, Christ was gangster. That's what you must understand. Christ wasn't no punk. He was about as G as it gets, right? So they come asking Christ, why is he transgressing the tradition of elders? Christ comes back and then, why are y'all transgressing the commandments of God? Like, what we're doing is nothing compared to what y'all doing. What y'all doing is y'all breaking God's laws. And what laws they breaking? Let's get into it. So why y'all breaking the commandments of God by your traditions, right? Let me tell you something. What's a tradition? Go ask your mother why we should celebrate Christmas. She'll say because it's a tradition. Why we celebrate Easter, it's a tradition. Why we celebrate Mother's Day, it's a tradition. Go ask your mother that. Go ask any black or Hispanic person why they celebrate these holidays. They will tell you it's a tradition. Why they do anything, they tell you because they've been doing it since they were a little kid and they ain't gonna stop. It's a tradition. And they are breaking God's laws by celebrating these traditions. You know what I'm saying? Why you pouring out beer for your dead homies? It's a tradition. Why you smoking weed every time before you go to work? It's a tradition. So Christ just checked the Pharisees by asking them why they breaking God's laws with their own traditions. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother. That's God's commandment. And this is a commandment that they breaking. It's a commandment that y'all break. commandment that we break as a people, was to honor thy mother and father. You think buying your mother flowers and buying her chocolate is actually honoring her when you can't even follow any rule that she gave you? You think that's honoring your mother and father when you sending her into a nursing home because you think you're too busy to take care of her? You're breaking God's commandment for your own traditions. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And he that curses father or mother, let him die to death. Like, I know before Mother's Day, there's plenty of y'all that was out there that was cussing out your mamas. Your mama asked for $5 and y'all cussing her out. Your mama just wanted $5 to go play bingo or something, to play the numbers or buy some milk, whatever she needed it for. It doesn't matter, but I'm pretty sure your mother just wanted to just talk to you for 5 minutes. Your mother just wanted to say hi and you cussing her out like you're too busy to talk to your mother. You're not honoring your mother. You're not honoring your mother and you're literally cursing her. You know how many curses that you are sending up to your mother when you disrespect her? You don't want to talk to her. You're too busy to spend time with her. She's in that nursing home that you put her in, just bored and stressed. Who knows how badly she's being mistreated in it? Who knows? But you continue to put her in it. Continue to put her in it. And you don't care. You probably visit her maybe once every 2 months. Your kids don't even know what grandma look like. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. But ye say, whoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift. So whoever says, hey, here's a gift. Whatsoever thou mightest be, profited it by me. So you only profiting yourself. When you're giving your mother and your father that gift, you're only giving it for the profit of yourself. You just want to feel good. Look what I got my mama. You on Facebook. Look what I got. Look, I'm spending time with your mom. You only do that once a year. When's the last time you took your mama out to eat before then? Her birthday. That's it. And birthdays are against the laws of God too. That's the traditions of man too. That's the tradition of man also. You don't care. You don't really spend no time with your mother. Your mother's an afterthought. All you remember is her birthday and Mother's Day. You might see her Christmas and Thanksgiving. But other than that, you don't really care. You only love your mother and father when our oppressor tells you to love your mother and father. In fact, I'll say it like this. We only show love to each other when our oppressor tells us to show love to each other. And Juneteenth, which is coming up, will be a prime example of that because Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives been celebrating Juneteenth before then, but the majority of us weren't. Now that our oppressor says it's okay to do so, guess what? Now we're going to be celebrating it. But let me continue. Let me start from 5. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be, profited by me. So you only giving your mother and father gifts on these special days so you can feel good. But let's continue. Verse 6. And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. What does that mean? What does that mean? Those who only out there giving gifts to your mother and father on these days, our oppressor says it's okay for you to show them love. You are free from them any other time of the year. You have nothing to do with them. You are free. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Thus have ye made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. So all these days that you claim that you love your mother and father, because our oppressor created some traditions like Easter, created some traditions like Christmas, created some traditions like Mother's Day, because our oppressor created these traditions. You honoring your mother and father is of non-effect, because on those days you're not actually honoring your mother and father, because you're free from them the rest of the year. You have nothing to do with them the rest of the year. You think that's honoring your mother and father. And guess what? You made God's law of none effect, because it's not honoring your mother and father at all. You are not honoring your mother and father one single bit. You know what I'm saying? And if you got any questions, type them on in. But we're going to end it with that. No, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's drop down to no, let's just continue. Let's just continue. Verse 7, ye hypocrites. Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth. Like on these days, on Mother's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, you are going to your mother talking about, I love you. You got these gifts. I love you. I love you. I love you. You running your mouth, right? You draw near unto me with their mouth. You draw near unto your mother with her mouth. It sounds good. It sounds like you're following God's laws. You sound like you honoring your mother and father, right? And honoreth me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me. Your heart far from Christ. Your heart far from God. Your heart far from your mother, from your father. Your heart far from your children. Your heart far from your spouse. Your heart far from anybody but yourself, because you only are doing what feels good to you. You're only doing it to make yourself feel good. You're only doing it because you want to feel good. You ain't doing it because God said to honor thy mother and father. You're doing it because our oppressor told you to do it. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. But in vain they do worship me. In vain you go to church on Easter. In vain you take your mother out. In vain you think you're doing what's right in the eyes of God. In vain, but you're not. What you're doing is of non-effect, because you're not following God's law, statutes, and commandments. You're not following them at all. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Teaching of doctrine, the commandments of men. You're teaching of doctrine, the commandments of men. What's the doctrine of commandments of men? If you're in class, I see there's a few of y'all in class on the Tickety Talk and the Facebook, the Twitter, and the YouTube. I see y'all in there. What is this? Let me bring it back. What is this doctrine? The commandments of men. What is that doctrine? On Mother's Day, what is the doctrine? What is the commandment of men telling you to do on Mother's Day? That might make it easier for y'all. What is the commandment of men telling y'all to do on Mother's Day? Do y'all know? No answers, huh? Let me tell you, the doctrine of the commandment of men on Mother's Day is telling you to love your mother on that day. That's a doctrine of men. When God is telling you to love and honor your mother every day. And how do you love and honor your mother every day? You follow her rules. You follow her instructions. You follow her guidance. You know what I'm saying? That's how you love your mother every day. Last Sunday, y'all wasn't doing that. Y'all brought us some roses. Y'all bought her some chocolate. Y'all might even went the extra mile and took her out to eat. Y'all probably went that extra mile. But at the end of the day, what are you doing the day after Mother's Day? What love are you showing to your mother? How about a week after Mother's Day? A month? 6 months after Mother's Day? What love are you showing your mother? None. None. None at all. You ain't buy your mother a gift till her birthday pops up. You know what I'm saying? And Lord behold, if her birthday actually pops up on Mother's Day, woo! She only sees you once a year. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get Jeremiah 1 and 5. Because I noticed a lot of this all this month. With this Roe versus Wade situation. This Roe versus Wade got a lot of these so-called women and so-called mothers upset. A lot of these so-called women and so-called mothers are very upset right now because Roe versus Wade got overturned. But let me tell you something about the history of Roe versus Wade. And if you support the decision of Roe versus Wade, shows you how much you hate black men. Because Roe versus Wade was created because a woman who said she was gang raped by a bunch of black men needed to abort her baby. And it came out literally a few years later. Wasn't even that long. And she admitted to the world that she lied. And guess what? They still championed the decision of Roe versus Wade, even though it was built on a lie that made black men look horrific. Made black men look very bad, like we out there gang raping white women. And that's not true. That is something that has been said and something that white people have been believing since Birth of a Nation came out, the original one, back in the, 19 teens or something. It's an old movie. That movie perpetrated black men raping white women. And so did her lie, which is no different from Emmett Till. Emmett Till was lied upon and he lost his life. This woman lied on a bunch of black men, and guess what? A bunch of black babies lost their lives. But y'all want to champion Roe versus Wade. And a lot of black women / mothers champion Roe versus Wade. And at the same time, as soon as Mother's Day come around, they want to be a mother. But let me see, what gift could you have gotten from that baby you aborted? You aborted that baby. What gift could you have gotten? See, that's the confusion y'all got to live with. You know what I'm saying? That baby that you got was not your responsibility to murder or not. That baby that you got rid of was God's property. And here's the scripture. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm not even there. I'm steady rambling my mouth. That's supposed to help a brother out, let a brother know. Yeah, I let a brother know nothing. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. No, let's start with 4. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4. Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, now this is the words of God coming to Jeremiah. These are not my words. These are not Jeremiah's words. These are the words of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else's. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before you were formed in the belly. What does that mean? What entity were you before you were formed in your mother's belly? You were a sperm cell. And science confirms that sperm cells are living cells. So before you even reach the belly, before you hit the egg and you started forming into a baby, the Most High knew you. So who is your mother to abort you? Let me tell you something. Your mother is literally playing God when she aborted you. And if you go back to the to the to the Garden of Eden, right? Go back to the Garden of Eden. Wasn't that one of the temptations that the serpent whispered unto Eve after she ate the fruit of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil? She will become a god. She ate that fruit, and guess what? She has the right to take her baby's life, even though it's not even out of her vagina yet. She could still take the baby's life. She really thinks she's God. You know what I'm saying? But hold on, let me see something. Some brothers said some things back here and I missed. Some Christian says he don't believe in my violent God. You don't have to believe in my violent God. God is who he is. Very violent. God is a man of war. If God exists, he must love cancer. Yeah. Maybe, but at least we don't believe in imaginary friends. Tell you, Christians are very disgusting beings. But they don't believe in imaginary God, but they believe that it's a woman's body and her right to abort babies. That's what Christians believe in. It's her body, her right to abort a baby. No matter what the reason is, she can do it. They gave the woman the power of God to take life, have the power over life and death. I'm saying, but let's continue. Let's read it. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. So before you even came out of the womb, the Most High sanctified you. The Most High separated you from all the other nations' babies. You know what I'm saying? And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. The Most High ordained. You don't know that child that you're aborting, you don't know who that child is. And that child could be the next Jeremiah. That child could be the next Isaiah. That child could be the next Obadiah. That child could be the next, you know what I'm saying, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that. But what you do is you abort it anyway because you're not financially secured. If you're not financially secured enough to take care of a baby, you're not financially secure enough to have sex. You're not financially secure enough to be in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get, hold on. Let me find it. Hold on. All right. Oh, I never actually typed it in. Let's get Wiz not wisdom, wisdom of Solomon 12:5. You don't know about the Apocrypha. The Wisdom of Solomon is in the Apocrypha, which the Apocrypha is a bunch of books. It literally means hidden books. That's what the word actually means, hidden books, which was taken out, you know what I'm saying? Which was taken out ways ago. You know what I'm saying? A long time ago. But let's get with it. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 5. Shall I start before it? Huh. Now let's go with this. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 5. And also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feast of blood. Hold on. Hold on. Who are those murderous, merciless murderers of children? Who are those merciless murderers of children? Let me tell you who those merciless murderers of children are. Women that are quick to murder their own babies, quick to devour the flesh of their own children, and feast on the blood of their own children for their own successes, their own drive to become successful. Let's continue. Verse 6. With their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crews. Who are their priests? Their priest is the Christian pastor. The Christian pastor, it promotes abortion and will promote Mother's Day in the same breath. How can you promote abortion and Mother's Day at the same time? I don't know. But your Christian pastor seems to successfully do it. And the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitutes of help. Who's killing the children with their own hands? Those who agreed to go to Planned Parenthood and kill their children. That's who killed their children with their own hands. You know what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people fully. We are completely destroyed, completely obliterated. You know what I'm saying? We are completely those who are out here trying to get out of this hell we in, but we keep following the instruction of the people that put us in this hell. We keep following the instruction of those our oppressor, those Caucasians that says that we're not financially secure enough to take care of our family. Let me tell you something. Back in the 1920s, barely any black man or black woman had a job, period. But we still seem to cling together and work together, and we were able to raise families of 6 to 8 to 9 to 10 kids in each family. How we were able to do that? By not following after our oppressor, but not doing what our enemy is telling us to do. That's how we was able to do such things. You know what I'm saying? And the first way we got to do that is stop following their holidays and celebration. Because when we follow their holidays and celebration like Mother's Day, guess what we're doing? We're taking our hard-earned money and giving it back to them. Once we give them back our money, well, guess what? They still have control. It's no different from being a slave. It's no different from being a slave. When we were slaves, they gave us special times for these holidays. That's why we hold these holidays so high. Because when we were slaves, it was like a day off, which they still do today, because at work you get a day off. All they did was change slavery to employment. That's the only thing that happened. Slavery just changed from to employment. It's no different when it was back then. Yeah, you had some slaves that got well off due to slavery. Their master loved those slaves more than anything. They bent over backwards for their master, and their master drilled the hell out of them. And they were in the big house with their master. They were living in the mansion with their master. And now they're living in mansions. They don't need their master to live with them no more because they're still under their master's command. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get on Deuteronomy 28, verse 56. Oh, bear with me one second. Let me get there with y'all. I'm almost there. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. Hopefully you're there with me so y'all can read along. If not, you know what I'm saying, just type in there, slow down one sec, brother. You know, I'll happily oblige. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set her sole of her foot upon the ground. Like once upon a time, our women were so tender, so delicate, so soft, so precious. They wouldn't even set their foot on the ground. We had people that were paid to carry them around. And those days will soon return. That's how precious and delicate our women were. You know what I'm saying? And when they're in their right mind, they just as precious and delicate. You know what I'm saying? But when they got let me take a pause. Let me sidebar real quick. You got this hip hop industry. Believe me, I love me some hip hop, man. You know what I'm saying? We like to say that's black culture. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is black culture. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real quick. Black culture is white business. And it being white business means it's white controlled. So hip hop being black culture, guess what? It's actually white business, which means it's controlled by our enemy, and our enemy is forcing things that really ain't black culture. Let me give a hand out for Kendrick Lamar in his new song, The Heart Fire, because he's basically telling you the same thing. Culture is not what we think it is. We think it's some music, you know what I'm saying, gang activity, whatever, you know what I'm saying, all the negative things that we are involved in today. You know what I'm saying? We think culture is mac and cheese on Mama's Day and all that. No. The fact that these people are forcing a certain lifestyle upon our women, you know what I'm saying? Forcing our women to be whores and prostitutes and have our OnlyFans. Most of these women that's promoting that out there don't even live that life. You think Megan Thee Stallion's out there actually being a whore? Think these city girls are out there actually being whores? Think they're having hot girl summers? Or they working? Or they trying to promote their music? They're not having hot girl summers. But they want to promote our women to do that. They want to promote our women to disrespect the men that's out there that is supposed to be protecting them and guiding them. But that's what this industry that is ran by white people does. Because us black people, we love our hip hop. We are guardians to the culture of hip hop too, but we're guardians to it in the wrong way. We're guardians to it like we don't want you know, white people coming and taking the culture from us. We're guardians to it to prevent M&Ms and Macklemore's and whatever the new white guy is. I forgot his name. But let me tell you, oh, Jack Harlow. That's his name, Jack Harlow. We out there trying to gatekeep and guard the culture from Jack Harlow's, but we need to guard and gatekeep the culture from these Jewish men that literally are out there pushing whatever they want to push onto our community. From the Rothsteins and whatever, you know what I'm saying, all these Jewish men that's out there that control these record labels and these streaming apps and so forth and so on. Because they are pushing these views and these way of lives onto our women and glorifying it to our women, and it's making it seem like they should be valued upon those things when there's no value. I'll tell you quick, whore shaming save lives. Shame a whore when you see her. Shame her. Laugh at her. Point your finger. And you never know. She might walk out of that life and her children may love her again. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Where am I? Oh, yeah, Deuteronomy 26 and 56, right? The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set her sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out of between her feet, and toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them. For what of all things she shall eat them for one of. Okay, let's bring that back a bit. Her eyes shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom. Your husband is the last person that you had sex with. Unfortunately, the Christian church doesn't teach you that. So a lot of your so-called exes, which are actually your so-called ex-husbands, you have an evil eye towards them. You even have an evil eye towards the man that you slept with 10 minutes ago. That's because of the Christian church. They're not leading our women or our people properly. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And toward her son and toward her daughter. Like we see these mothers like, y'all seen Precious? The movie Precious is pretty, I've seen it. I've seen it in real life. The movie Precious is actually very reality based. I've seen women hate their daughters for multiple reasons, and it doesn't even matter. Why are you hating your daughter? The Christian church, if you ask me. You're hating your daughter because the white man allows for your mother to hate you. That's why. If you think about it for 1 second, what reason do you have to hate your daughter? Was she prettier than you? Which may or may not even be true. She may be prettier than you in the moment because she's younger. But age by age, who's to make that call? Who's to make that call age by age? But not just that. A lot of women do hate their women because, like, in Precious, Precious was such an accurate movie. I've seen it too many times. But because the child reminds you of the father. Your child might remind you of that no good Negro that slept with another woman and you kicked him out the house. Especially if you're a boy, or if you're a boy that looks like your father and she got a gripe with your father, you might have a rough time. Now, believe me, I ain't saying every woman, but I've seen this story too many times in my life, how a woman can hate her children. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen women hate their children, and their children is asking them to go to a party. Next thing you know, they flipping. Instead of saying just could just been a simple no. You know what I'm saying? I seen homies wanting to just go out and chill, and the mother could just said a simple no. Next thing you know, they talking all types of trash. You're just gonna be a no good dirty, running these streets with these no good dirty. Like, I seen it. Hell, it happened to me. And I didn't even by my mother. I wasn't even raised by my mother. I seen women do that. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward that child in her womb that comes out from between her feet. We've seen the hate that happens to them. It's over 300,000 in some states. Good thing they overturned this Roe versus Wade, because some states actually legalize post-birth abortions. I don't know how it's an abortion post-birth, but some states did legalize it. Some states did legalize it. I read an article. Well, no, they didn't legalize it. They were trying to legalize it. They were trying to legalize post-birth abortions, which is no different from what Egypt did to us back in the days of Moses, and no different from what the Romans were doing to us back in the days at the birth of Christ. Kill them babies, kill them boys, kill them male babies specifically. You know what I'm saying? And toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things. What does it mean by eat them? For the want of all things. What does it mean by that? What does it mean to eat your children for the want of all things? What does that mean? Do you know? Let me break it down to you. She's going to eat you for the want of all things is simply this. She's either going to use you as a come up or kill you as a come up. Whatever it is, the mother will use you as a come up. All of us most of us are familiar with having a bill before we was able to freaking get a job. We had debt before. There was either cable in our name, lights in our name, gas in our name. Something was in our name before we was even able to have a job. We're being eaten. We're being eaten. But that's the tradition of men. A lot of our parents did that, right? But what is the main excuse for abortions now? These are the women that you want to celebrate, mind you. These are the women that you want to celebrate every Mother's Day. But how can she eat and devour you for the want of all things? Even before you're born, you are eaten and devoured. Because the main excuse for abortions is, I can't afford the child. The child going to slow down my growth and having a better life, getting out of this ghetto. You know what I'm saying? I cannot give the child the life that it deserves, so I have to abort it. There's always something that comes down to financial issues when it comes to abortion, because your mother is eating you for the want of all things, literally devouring you. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Secretly in the siege and straightness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. That's Planned Parenthood right there. If you ever notice, all Planned Parenthood see them being ghettos. I want somebody to DM me a Planned Parenthood that is not in an urban area. Easy access for Black, Hispanic, and Natives to get to. Easy access for us to get to. While they have to go through our hoods just to get their abortions. They have to go out. They have to step out. But us, nah, right around the corner. That's why I'm happy this Roe versus Wade is repealed. Hopefully it stays that way. And I don't know, they fighting hard, but hopefully it stays that way. These women that's fighting to repeal it is the same women that want you to celebrate Mother's Day. And the majority of them are lesbians. Let's be real about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. But let's get Lamentations. No, let's get Lamentations for now. Let's go to Proverbs 26, 22 and 6. I don't know. Proverbs is such a popular book. Sometimes I be thinking that it's a bigger book than what it actually is. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. This is a very popular verse. You know what I'm saying? Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. That is very important when it comes to this Mother's Day stuff. Unfortunately, the fight got to start at some point. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all think it's too late because of the traditions. It's tradition. You got to break tradition sooner or later and start following God's laws. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later, you got to break that tradition and start following God's laws. Train up that child in the way he should go. You know how many children I know that never celebrated Christmas and don't miss it, don't even really know about it, don't even care about it. So many children I know go through that. And they're happy. It's not like they replaced anything with anything. No, it wasn't replaced. It's just gotten rid of. Christmas was gotten rid of. No, why? Because Christmas is not our thing. That is Caucasian culture. Just like Mother's Day is Caucasian culture. Mother's Day, the history of it goes back to Greek, Roman, you know what I'm saying, pagan worship. And you can research that on your own time. But that's how far that goes back. So if you train up a child not to follow that like a good parent should, then you don't have to worry about your child falling to any pits from such a holiday. And yeah, there's pits to Mother's Day. There's pits to it. One of them, they only see you on that day. I know kids that's attached to their parents' hips right now, loving their mother, and it's nowhere near Mother's Day. They like that all year round because they're following God's law, statutes, and commandments. Their mother is a virtuous woman. Their woman is a woman of skill and of some moral, you know what I'm saying, standards. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get Amos 5:1. Bear with me. Amos, chapter 5, verse 1. Hear ye this word which I take up against ye. Oh, my fault. Not even 5:1. It's 5:21. Did I put 5:1 up there? Yeah. Matter of fact, but let me bring context to it. Let me continue with that 5:1. Hear ye this word which I take up against you, even a lamentation, O house of Israel. So who is he speaking to in this chapter? If you want to know the context of any book in the Bible, just usually go to the first verse. The majority of the first verses in of any book or any chapter will tell you the context of it. This is talking to Israelites. Know why? Because only Israel was given the law. So what I'm about to read in Amos 5:21, let me type that in there. Amos 5:21 is strictly for Israelites. Guess what? It's okay for every other nation to break God's laws because they're going to get what they get when they get it. But as for us, the law was given unto us, and we got to follow it now. You know what I'm saying? But 5:21, I hate, I despise your feast days. He's talking to Israelites. He hates and he despises our feast days. What are our feast days? These are our days that we put up. That it's not in what was that, Deuteronomy 21? No. Numbers 21. The holidays that are not, the holy days that are not in the Bible, right? All those holy days that are not in the Bible are our feast days. We celebrate every holiday by all these other nations. We do celebrate. We celebrate Chinese New Year. None of us are Chinese. We celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Guess what? None of us are Irish. These are our feast days. These are things that we chose to celebrate. And the Lord said he hates and despises them. You know what I'm saying? Let me start that back from the top. I hate, I despise your feast days. Mother's Day is a feast day. You taking your mother out to eat and have a glorious dinner. You got the rest of your siblings there. You know what I'm saying? That is a feast day. You know what I'm saying? And God said he hates and despises your feast days because your day has nothing to do with him. All the high holy days that's in the scriptures has to do with the Most High and what he has done for us. You know what I'm saying? Passover. Passover because he killed so many Egyptians for us to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? To get out of that hell that we were in. You know what I'm saying? That's a holy day. Yeah. And you got Mother's Day. Congratulations. I'd rather celebrate the Passover than your Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. What's a solemn assembly? A solemn assembly is when you get together. Everybody's all dapper damned up. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all do on your Mother's Day. Y'all get dapper damned up. You know what I'm saying? All y'all get dapper damned up. All y'all start, you know what I'm saying, putting on your best threads for your mama. Just like y'all do on Easter. That's what y'all do. And as soon as we realize why we do it, which is because the oppressor says it's okay to do it, we'll be better off. I'm not saying it's a sin to take your mother out to eat. No, go take your mother out to eat. Go ahead. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's a sin to give your mother gifts. No. You want to give your mother some chocolate and some flowers, go ahead. But it's when you do it. It's not what you're doing, it's when you're doing it. When you decide to give your mother a gift because your oppressor ordains a certain day to give your mother a gift, that's when it becomes a sin. For example, it's not Thanksgiving is not a sin because you are gathering with your family to eat. No, it's a sin because you're gathering with your family to eat on a day that your oppressor says it's okay for your family to eat. And why y'all are eating is because your oppressor killed your brothers and your people on that day. And you're not caring enough to look behind it and figure out that it's wrong. That's why it's a sin. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. 5:21. Did I read all that? Let me start that from the top, just to remind y'all, just so it sticks. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Your solemn assembly. He will not smell that good food you cook. Y'all cooking all those hams and those turkeys. Y'all cooking all that lobster. Y'all cooking all this food. Guess what? The Lord don't even smell it. He will not smell in those solemn assemblies where y'all getting all dapper damned up. He takes no glory in it at all. No glory in your solemn assembly, where you got men who will slaughter, literally kill the lamb with their hands, and the Lord will smell that with all the glory there is. See the difference? Do you see the difference? Y'all following y'all oppressor is different from following the Lord. The Lord is a man of war, so y'all killing y'all food and eating this righteous food for righteous reasons, the Lord finds glory in that. There's no glory in y'all eating all kinds of pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster on the day that your oppressor says it's okay to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's not. But let's drop that. Let's get with Isaiah 45:5. Let's get to Isaiah 45:5. Bear with me as I get it on these scriptures. Isaiah 45. Oh, just missed it. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 5. Give y'all a couple seconds to get there. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 5. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. That's heavy. The Lord is telling you there is no other God but him. But you literally, when you celebrate Mother's Day, you know what you're saying? You know what you're saying when you celebrate Mother's Day, especially after I read that verse to you that God hates and despises our feast days. You know what you're saying to God when you celebrate it after that? You're telling God that there is a God above him. And that God is whatever holiday you celebrate. For example, Mother's Day. You're saying God is not higher than your mother. You're saying God is not higher than Ishtar, which is the mother that the Greeks and the Romans celebrated. You're saying God is not higher than white people. Yes, that's literally what you're saying. You're saying God is not higher than a white man. Know why you're saying God's not higher than a white man? Because the white man okayed you to break his laws and you followed the white man more than you fought by. Look, in the book of Maccabees, there is a mother with 5 sons. No, my bad. 7 sons. And they were told to eat pork. And one by one, they were tortured and killed, cooked. They were literally cooked. Just to deny that God, that Greek God that wanted them to eat pork. They said no the whole way. They were killed one by one in front of the mother. And guess what the mother did? The mother said no till she was dead. See, all her sons died in front of her eyes just because they wouldn't eat pork. How many of you would do that? Let me tell you something. That's a mother worthy of praise. That's a mother worthy of praise. How many women could do that? See, all her kids died in front of her eyes, one by one, in the most torturous and gruesome ways. That's a mother of praise. But let's get back to it. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no else besides him. So when you are celebrating these holidays, you are saying there are more than him. There is something more out there other than the one that gave us these law, statutes, and commandments, which commands us to love each other and gives us some type of standards in life, gives us some type of structure in life. But you saying what the white man can provide is more important. The structure and the lifestyle the white man is providing is way more important than what the Most High is. Let's continue. There is no God beside me. When you celebrate Mother's Day, you are saying that there is a God above and with him. There's no God besides him. But when you do those things, you are saying that there is. You know what I'm saying? I urge you to study the history of these holidays that you celebrate. Celebrate the origins of them. Celebrate where they came from. See the truth behind them. You know, Christmas wasn't always celebrated in America, period. In fact, it was outlawed for a while. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's continue. I girded thee, he protected us, though thou hast not known me, even though we never known him. All the things that we went through in life before I am able to speak to you the words I am speaking, the Most High protected you unto this point. He protected you. He girded you. Just so you could find out that celebrating Mother's Day was a sin. He girded you up to this point. But I'm going to go to one more verse. Let's get to 1 John 5:3, because you claim you love your mother. Let's see. We're going into the New Testament. Go to 1 John. Pretty small book. Chapter 5, verse 3. Give y'all a couple seconds to get there. First John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the... No, let's go back. Let's go back to First John chapter 5, verse 1. Let's get a little bit further back. Because context is always a good thing. You know, technically the scripture I posted really doesn't need context. It's pretty self-explanatory. But you know, Christians, they like to say you're taking things out of context when you're not. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back to the first verse. 5. First John chapter 5, verse 1. Whosoever believeth that Jesus is the Christ is born of God, and everyone that loveth him, that begat, loveth him. Also that is begotten of him. So that means everybody that claims they love Christ. You know what I'm saying? Everyone that loveth him, that begat, loveth him. That means everybody that helped him in his growth, that claim they love him. And everybody that he helped grow, that is begotten of him, that claim to love him, right? 2, by this we know that we love the children of God. By this we know that we love the children of God. If you love Christ, you love the children of God. You claim you love Christ, that means you love the children of God. It goes hand in hand, right? When we love God and keep his commandments, that's how you know that you love him. Now, you know it's a sin to celebrate Mother's Day. So you can't celebrate Mother's Day and claim you love God. You can't even celebrate Mother's Day and claim you love black people. You can't say you love Mother's Day and claim you love Christ. Because if you love anything, you love them by following the commandments. Let me explain. There is, let's say I got a homeboy. That's my homie. That's my brother. I love the dude. You know what I'm saying? He got a woman. He got a fine woman. She fine, thick as could be, dark skinned, everything that I personally like, right? And he introduces me to her, right? And he suddenly we had a brunch together. We had some restaurant together. There's 3 of us. We eating whatever, and he has to go to the bathroom. Now just me and his woman. Now God says not to lust after another man's woman. But if I'm over there checking her out, about 2 seconds, about to spit some game to her, do I love that brother? He's really feeling her. Do I love that brother if I'm about to spit game to his woman? Ask yourself that. Let me bring it to Mother's Day term. You are about to go take your mother out to eat for Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day. Automatically, right? It's Mother's Day. And you take her out to eat to her favorite restaurant. She orders shrimp scampi. You know what I'm saying? She orders a shrimp scampi, right? And you let her drink all the alcohol she could possibly drink. How many laws have you broken, and do you truly love your mother? Let me explain to you why you don't love your mother, right? For one, you took her out on a day that the oppressor says. So you don't love her because you're only going to take her out that one day, right? And then you broke the law of allowing your mother on your dime to eat shrimp scampi. So now she's in at risk of gout, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, whatever other health issues. Shrimp carries a lot of mercury. So mercury intoxication, I forgot what it's called. You know what I'm saying? You put your mother at risk of all types of health disorders by allowing her to eat shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Then you're allowing her to drink and get drunk and wasted. Who knows? She might have a stroke or not get up at all. She might stop breathing because alcohol could do that to old people. Just stop breathing for no reason. Just lungs just don't working. Do you love your mother after that? You thought you were having a good time. You know what I'm saying? You thought you were having a good time. Know why? Because if you follow God's law, that is true love. You take your mother out anytime, have her order some fish and chips. You know what I'm saying? Have her order some chicken wings, some steak, lamb, venison. If you want to get really fancy, you get some venison. You know what I'm saying? That is loving your mother any day of the week. Loving your brother is not sleeping with his woman or lusting after his woman. I tell a woman quick, if another man's rod been in you, you're ugly as fuck to me. Yeah, this is how it is. Oh, slacky for my language. Oh, I was doing good. It's always till the last minute. The last hour is when I slip up. You know what I'm saying? Can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. But let's continue with it. Let's continue with it. 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God. Oh, no, I ain't even get to 3 yet. Hold on. Oh, I am at 3 now. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. If you say you love somebody on the level that you love God, that this is the love, I love you with the love of God. You keep those commandments. You can't love nobody without keeping God's commandments. It's plain and simple. You'll keep the commandments yourself as an example, and you will make sure that they keep it because you don't want them in the wrath of God. You don't love somebody when you put them in the wrath of God. You know God is if you know anything about God, God don't play. God could give you $1 million today, and next thing you know, you're a crackhead tomorrow and you OD. And you thought that $1 million was a blessing. God don't play. You know that $1 million a blessing. Now you can't even pass it down to nobody. You can't even pass that money down. And you thought God was for play, man. God ain't for play, man. God is not for play. But let's continue. And his commandments are not grievous. What does it mean that his commandments are not grievous? It's a lot of people like talk to some Christians about the commandment of God. There's so many commandments, you can't keep them all. See, they taking the commandments as grievous. Commandments are very simple. Very simple. Love your brothers and love the Most High, most importantly. But there are more than there's about 600 plus laws in the Bible, right? You know how many laws there are in the Constitution and the amendments of it? You know how many laws there is in United States statutes? Thousands. How many of you are felons? How many of you are felons? Let's be real about it. You'll keep the white man's laws, but you can't keep God's laws. That says a lot. I ain't gonna hold you. That says a lot. You know what I'm saying? But that's about my time right now. I'm gonna end the class. Yo, people, man. We got the fire weekend going down in Chicago in July 21st through the 24th. You know what I'm saying? Get down to Chicago. They had the hotel's gonna be in the Stay Bridge, which is in 200. Forgot the address, but I got the Stay Bridge, which is in I forgot the city. It's on the outskirts of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have the fire weekend. They're gonna have the Bantu weekend. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be a fire weekend, man. There's gonna be lectures. They're gonna be holding down camp. You know what I'm saying? So get your preparation ready. And if you want to be a trooper in the school, get in all black, black shirt, black pants, black headpiece. You know what I'm saying? Black boots. And we're gonna get this thing rocking. And with that, shalom.